Hi everyone, and welcome to the Oracle card reading for Friday, November 15th with me, Colleen. I'm going to be reading today a little bit into the post full moon energy and also looking into Mercury retrograde a little bit more as well. There's about 5 or 6 days left of Mercury retrograde. So I'm sure everybody who follows that is looking forward to that being over so that we can, resume our normal scheduling and programming. And for me personally, I noticed that I went through a lot of sort of changes and transitions just in the last few days. The full moon energy had a really powerful impact on me, and it just brought to light some healing that still needed to be done and certain things that needed to that I needed to just let go of. So as I was looking around on social media, I noticed that a lot of other people were reporting to be experiencing the same or similar things. So just know that if you went through that as well, that it was meant to happen. And if you're struggling to let go of something, just work through it slowly and take your time with it. And, whatever's coming up for you right now, if it's pulling you in that direction to let it go, then definitely honor that and do a little bit of exploring just to see, what your life might look like if you were to let go of this thing that has been such a heavy burden on you for so long. Okay, well, enough about that. I'm going to get into the reading now. So I'm going to start by shuffling this deck of cards, and I'm going to just wait until cards pop out of the deck as usual. Oh, 2 fell out right now, so I'll put those there, and I'll just do another quick shuffle to see if any more messages want to come through for us today. I usually just meditate a little bit beforehand and try to align with spirit in sort of like a global community sense, I guess, if you will. Okay, one more came out. So I'll just go with these 3. Now these 2 were stuck together. So the one on top is called Find Gratitude in Today. So this card is, it's just asking you to be a little bit more grateful for the things that are in front of you. And if you're going through a transitional period right now where it just seems like nothing's going right, shift your focus back onto what is going right and appreciating and acknowledging the good things that you have in front of you. I mean, if you want to really break it down to the basic elements of it all, if you woke up with a roof over your head and so you have shelter, you have food, you have clothing, then you're doing good. You're doing a lot better than some other people in the world, right? And it's just about breaking it down into the smallest detail that you can if you're really having trouble finding gratitude in your day. Like if you're having a really bad day and you're just struggling to see anything good in your life, it could be the simplest thing like, oh, I have a really comfortable bed and I really appreciate that. Or it could be, that bagel I had at lunch was really delicious. And I don't know, I'm just thinking of whatever it could be. So it's going to be different for you, right? But it's just appreciating the little things, I guess, is the message here for us today. And another thing that is standing out for me in this card is it says, stop living in the past and focus on the now. And this could be tying into the full moon transition period that we just experienced that I was talking about. And I think a lot of people are comparing their present situation to what it was like in the past. Whether we mean to do this or not, it doesn't do anything good for us for the future, right? It just really pulls our focus away from looking at the good things that we do have. And, you know, there's a lot of places in the world right now that are suffering from a bit of an economic downturn. And, you know, in my city especially, it's a big deal. It's really happening here. And there's a lot of people that are, you know, comparing the past to now. And I always remind them that, you know, as long as they're doing that, things are never going to seem like they're good again. So we almost have to work to create a new version of what we think is good and what we see as being good in our lives. And it's just really about putting whatever that was good at the time, you know, over here in the past and moving forward to whatever good is happening right now. It's not to say that things won't be as good as they were before, like again, but they will never be the same, all right? So it's a little bit of managing expectations there as well. Okay, the next card that came up is You Are Worthy. And I feel like there might be some people out there who might be struggling to find gratitude in their lives, in any detail of their lives, because they might not feel like they're worthy of having good things. And people that aren't doing so well financially really come to the forefront of my mind. Sometimes when we aren't doing so well financially, or we've gone through a loss, you know, I've gone through it myself. You really struggle to see your worth anymore. It's almost like, in a way, you don't know who you are anymore when you lose like a financial status, or if you lose a lot of money, or, you know, something like that. And it's just all about coming back to like the fundamentals of who you really are, and know that you're still worth it. You're still a person. You know, you still have needs and desires, and you have every right to want those things. Just because you're not doing so well financially doesn't mean that you don't deserve to have nice things. Just because you lost something doesn't mean that you'll never have that again. But it's all about managing expectations, okay? And, you know, if other people are reaching out to help you, if you're having a bad time right now or a hard time financially, it's saying yes and agreeing to receiving their help. Because there's a lot of people that actually do want to help, but sometimes like we don't allow it because we let our pride get in the way, or our egos. And it's all about just moving past that and, you know, saying yes and knowing that you deserve it, knowing that you're worthy to receive that. Okay? And a lot of people can really struggle with that idea, especially if you're the type of person that has been, you know, you're used to taking care of business all the time. You're used to taking care of yourself and being self-sufficient. It can be kind of hard to, you know, be able to accept, you know, gifts and help from other people when you really need it, especially. And, you know, another thing this card talks about is, it says receiving doesn't mean that you are owing anything back, so long as you show appreciation and acknowledgement for what you receive. So yeah, and that's just it, right? I mean, some people I think a lot of people aren't offering help to people because, you know, they want to get something in return. I think a lot of people are doing it because they really want to help. And, you know, so just let them. but it's important for us to express our gratitude. And, you know, if you really feel like you want to give something back to that person, I mean, what can you give back to them that doesn't involve spending money that you don't have, right? Like baking something for a person, or making them dinner, or, you know, even just sending them a thank you card, right? Those are all really inexpensive ways to say thank you. And I think people really appreciate those gestures the most. And it makes those people who are helping us feel fulfilled as well. When you're feeling like you're worth it, when you're feeling like you're worthy of having good things, more good things are going to come into your life. But first, okay, so you have to believe it, but then before that, you need to make sure that you're practicing gratitude to those things as well. So these cards, I think, are really tying in together in that way. Okay, the last card that we got is called Do the Thing. Do the Thing. This card is really all about just calling us out on any procrastination that we might be experiencing right now. Now, if there's been something on your mind, and it could be on your mind for a long time or a short period of time, but nevertheless, if it's the type of thing on your mind that's been waking you up in the middle of the night, keeping you awake at night, or really just bothering you a lot, this card is prompting you to deal with it. Deal with that thing. Get that thing done. And Mercury retrograde is a really good time to finish up old projects. So if there's something that kind of fell to the wayside in the past and it's been bothering you lately, you know you need to deal with it. Take those steps to deal with it now. Because number one, you're gonna feel a lot better after you just deal with it. It's gonna be like a weight is lifted off you. And then you can move on to other things, right? So you're gonna be clearing some space in your mind, your schedule, your energy for something new to come in once you get this other thing off your plate. It's, you know, not gonna be taking up so much space in your brain, for one thing. And if it has to do with something to do with your health or medical, yeah, you know, it's natural to have fears of what could be a result of us looking into something. But if something's bothering you, that's kind of an indication sometimes that, you know, maybe you should go and get it checked out. And, you know, I always say to people, like, we always know deep down what to do. Like, we always know everything about ourselves deep down. It's just a lot of us fear confirmation of the bad things that, or like bad things, you know, things that we don't want to be true. We fear confirmation of those things, like to be true. And, you know, but the reality is that avoiding it is just gonna make it worse, right? So I feel like somebody out there just needs to hear this, that if you are feeling like there could be some sort of issue or something that you need to go get checked out, go and take care of it now, because you could be saving yourself a lot of hassle, headache, or problems later down the road, right? So it's all about just catching things before they get too far out of hand, okay? And yeah, I mean, it can be a scary thing to deal with, but you know what? Fear is just in our mind all the time, and things rarely turn out to be as bad as we, you know, make them up to be in our minds, or that we, you know, fortune tell them to be in our minds. And just know that, like, you know, you're able to work through whatever is given to you at the time, okay? Like, you can do it. You have the strength and the power to do it, to get through whatever you're afraid of getting through. Okay, so the last card that came up, I always read the bottom of the deck card because I find it has a lot of value. This card is called Do What You Love. Now, I see this card tying into the rest of it, just as a reminder to have more fun. That's the first thing that's coming up on this card. It says to have more fun. And I think that in doing that, it's really gonna just sort of pull you away from any worries that you've been having. It's when you're having fun, it's a good way to sort of change your perspective as well. And you know, when you do things that you enjoy, you might start seeing things in a little more better light, I guess, if you will. And when we have more fun, it just makes us feel good, right? And when we feel good, as you probably know, raises our vibration, and then we attract more good things in our lives. Okay, so doing what you love, it could be, you know, doing a creative hobby that you like once in a while. It could be to stop saying no to activities that drag you down, that you feel obligated to do. It could be a change in career. So whatever that means, whatever the do what you love card means to you right now, I would just go with it and just leave the rest. And I recommend that people do that with all of my readings that I do. It's going to be different for everybody. So it's always the first thing that comes to mind when you see a card or hear a message. And just trust that that's what it's supposed to mean for you. Okay, so I always suggest just take what you need from this reading and just leave the rest. Okay, but trust whatever's coming up for you. Well, that's all the time I'm going to spend on this today, but I want to thank you so much for watching this reading with me today. And if you're interested in booking your own personal intuitive reading with me, you can do so in the link in the description. I also do personal life coaching sessions. I have a variety of packages that can suit you know, your needs based on what you're looking for. So definitely get in touch with me if that's something that interests you as well. And I guess I will see you guys in the next video, and I hope you have a great Friday. Take care.